All right. So, set 8 Dead of Winter set review. On Tuesday, I did Champions, Shardless, and Blood. And then yesterday, I was starting with Diamond, and then, like 3 minutes in, my PC crashed, and I had issues that evening. And yeah, but now we should be all clear, all good. And yeah, I will start now with Diamond. And I will start from the beginning with Diamond because I did 3 cards, but that's all lost now. All right, so Diamond, Arcing Light. 2 cost, quick action, revert up to 3 target cards. So usually I would think that you don't need to revert 3 cards. Like most times you need to revert maybe 1 card, maybe 2, I don't know. So what is important to know is that this basically kills portal cards. Like your opponent plays a troop that was a portal. If you revert that card, the portal, then it goes to the crypt. It basically dies. Because it's then reverted to the portal card, which is nothing. So for limited, I would probably play that against an opponent who plays portal cards, maybe the portal champ as well. It doesn't work against portal cards that were played as an action, because those are already played. We need to hit like constants or troops. And then it also works against momentum cards in limited, which is good, I guess. It's quick, so you can do this as a combo trick against momentum cards. They trigger momentum, and then you revert, and they go back to 1/1. For constructed, I'm very skeptical for constructed. Even against against a constructed portal deck, there are probably better options than revert. But maybe. But for limited, people will play this card, but probably from the sideboard, not in the main. Yeah. Alright. Arctic Grizzly, 5 cost, 3/5, gain health equal to this troop's cost. And you have First Form for 3, which is then 3/1, and you get 3 health. I would say this is a filler card. It's not the end of the world if you have to play it, but I don't want to play this in my limited deck. I mean, a 3/5 buddy for 5 is just not impressive. And 5 health gain. I mean, health gain is okay as on a card that is already good or playable at least. On a 3/5 buddy for 5 or 3/1 for 3, okay. It's filler card, like 22, 23, 23rd card. That's fine. Nothing for constructed. Just way too bad. Aura Eater. 2 cost 2/2 beast, 1 shot, void target constant. That's, yeah, I guess it's good. Definitely solid pick for limited. But I'm not sure how many constants we have in limited now. But even then, I mean, it's a 2/2 for 2. That's okay. Even if you don't find a constant, like, chances are you will find a constant. Like, all runes are constants, so I guess it should be a solid pick. Not early pick, but yeah, middle in the pack, definitely fine. And then for Constructed, you could play this as a sideboard card, but you can also play Cleansing Light, which is probably the better choice when you want to sideboard against Constants. Yeah, I would assume you have better sideboard options. There we are. All right. Ballista. 6 cost, Incarnation, 3/6, Flight Swift Strike. When this deals combat damage to an opposing champion, put a troop with cost less than this troop's cost from your crypt into play. Yeah, that looks limited. It's definitely a bomb. Clear first pick. I would assume for Frostform it's a 3/1 Flight Swift Strike. Yeah, that's good. Limited, there is no question. This is clear first pickable. Now, how about Constructed? The effect is really good. The troop with cost less than this troop's cost from equipped into play. The effect is really good. Light Swift Strike is good as well. Play this on 4. Can I play this in a kind of mid-range style deck? I will say that there is no room. Like, you have too many other good troops you want to play. If you would play this in Constructed, you would most likely play it on turn 4 instead of turn 6. Yeah. It's a really nice effect. But how reliable is it to deal damage? No, I will say no for Constructed. Brighthammer Adept. 2 cost, 1/1, Suctable Miner, Momentum. Now. Yeah. Limited, this is nice. Definitely one of the better 2-drops you can pick. You can go for 1/3 in Diamond, or you can go for Skyguard Steadfast, or for Fate Weave. Yeah. Limited, this is a solid pick. Not first pick or second or third pick, but somewhere after that. I mean, you can second pick this if there's nothing better in the pack. It's a real solid card in Limited. Now, for Constructed. So I already tried to build Diamond Wild Momentum deck on HexTCG browser with that 8 cards. But I didn't play the Brighthammer Adept. There aren't that many Momentum cards, but I think like the Wild one is better. Now I have to find it. Same stats, also Momentum, 2 cost, but then it has Crush. Where do we have it? No. No. Come on. Where is it? There it is. Jubilant Joster. I think this is better. Crush is, I think, better than Fate Weave or +2 defense. Although it's close, I guess. I like Crush on momentum. Like, play 2 resources a turn, then he is suddenly +2, +3 is 5, then the turn after that it's suddenly +6, and then Crush is really nice. But yeah, it's either that one or this one. I will have to try it out. And the question is this momentum deck even good and constructed? But yeah, this might make the cut. Right now I think Crush is better than a Suckable Miner. But yeah, nice artwork as well. Okay. Courageous Soul. 1 cost quick action, target troop you control gets +1/+1. If you control a constant, that troop gets an additional +1/+1. So this works as a combo trick, but it's also permanent. I guess it's playable in limited. It's nothing I am very excited about. If I have a constant, I guess it's okay. Yeah, what should I say? It's a card you can play, but you shouldn't play more than... I mean, I wouldn't play more than 1 probably on my limited deck. And it's not a card I pick. I pick basically everything above this card. But I can see that card ending up in my deck if I have enough constants. But it's not a card I really want to pick highly, or... Yeah, I will pick basically everything above this card. Not completely unplayable though, it's okay. Constructed, I will just say no. Just no. Dawn Charger, 2 cost 4/4. So there we have big stats for just a 2 cost troop. It's a spirit, which can be relevant. But it says when this attacks or blocks, you may put a constant you control into your hand. If you don't, put this into your hand. So you would like to have constants that have a deploy effect, I guess. Is this good? And this is attacks or blocks. I mean, notably, you can block and then choose to not put a constant into your hand, and then you just bounce the Dawn Charger. So you can basically block for free every turn for the cost of 2, which is okay. And they have to respect the stats, like they can't just attack if you have a constant, because they can't just lose a troop for bouncing one of your constants. That's not worth it. So in limited, definitely playable. Definitely playable in limited. But I'm not sure if I would first pick this. It's definitely first pickable, but I think I would rather pick a solid removal or something else. It's not bad, but yeah. Nothing I get excited about when I open this. Now, for constructed... What constant would you want to actually bounce? I can see the Fate Thief gem in momentum decks to guarantee the shards. Yeah, I thought about that too. But for now, I think the Crush is better. But yeah, definitely. Momentum to be able to for sure be able to have a trigger next turn. Yeah. Some troops care about constants entering play. Fair enough. Yeah, I think there are better cards you can play in Constance than this one. Maybe a budget option. Like, I don't think this card will, after a month or so, be more than 30 platinum. Low end, 30, 40, whatever. Yeah. But it's a nice design, I guess. Devoted Luminist. 3 cost, 2/2, momentum 1, steadfast. Yeah, it's okay in limited, definitely. Play it on 3, play a shard, maybe play 2 shards, and then you have a big swing. It's definitely okay. Solid, even, I would say, in limited. Again, just middle in the pack. Middle in the pack, like... There are many cards you would pick over this one, but it's not. It's a solid card that 9 out of 10 times will make your deck if you are on those shards. For constructed, it's not good enough. Just not good enough. You don't have that many momentum cards, but you have enough good momentum cards that you don't need to play this in constructed. Yeah, and that's all there is to it. I'm moving along a bit faster than usual. Which is mostly because I have no one to talk to. But that's okay. Dragon Speaker Dahlia. 5 cost 4/5, Circuitable Major. At the end of your turn, illuminate 1. Now, is this good enough for the illuminate deck? Like, you have to consider that you have 4/5, you have the dragon, Livanth, that illuminates on every attack, and then you get Candlekin for each damage it takes, and it has 4/5 flight haste. So I guess Livanth is just better. Livanth needs to attack, and Dahlia does not need to attack. And it has a Secretary Major, so you could go for charges. Then you get 1 free illuminate, basically, so you can illuminate for your champion power and then end of turn. Or you can go for Flight Swift Strike. Or you can go for, and that's basically probably the most interesting choice, go for -2 cost. Like, if you play this on 3, then this is really amazing, right? On turn 3, this is really good. Yeah, so limited clear bomb. Like, I will pick this. Basically, yeah, there is no uncommon or common I would pick over this first pack. And then I try my best to probably try to end up in Illuminate, because this card really is amazing. Question is, would this make the cut for the standard constructed deck? I guess I will try it out. Like, I thought about it already. Like, how would I build the Illuminate deck? And I will try this card as a 1 or 2 of. 2 Levanths, 1 or 2 Dahlia as your top end, and then 1 or 2 Lumagov. And probably Rocket -2 cost. Not sure. Yeah. We will have to wait and see whether Illuminate is actually playable. Like, it's not playable right now. At least it is not played. It could be okay, but no one is really trying and playing and winning with Illuminate in standard right now. Maybe with set 8 that changes. And maybe this card is a part of it. We will wait and see. Enlightened Destiny, 8 cost. Target troop you control gets +5/+5, flight, and invincible. But it's basic, so you can't respond to a hero fall or something. While you control 5 or more elementals, this has cost -5 in all zones. So the most obvious choice would be Candlekin, because those are elementals. Also unlimited all Frostform cards are elementals. Yeah, limited, this is really good. As long as you don't get the removal in response to playing this, then you're happy. Then they are in a tough spot. +5/+5 flight, invincible. That should dominate the board. But even in limited, I mean, it's not easy to get 5 elementals in limited. And if you have 5 elementals in limited, chances are you are winning anyways. And 8 cost in limited is really a tough ask. So I can see myself not first picking this actually. Now that I think about it a little bit more. Because it's not easy to get 5 elementals in limited. And for 8 it's too unlikely. And then they can void it or something. Or bounce in response. There are too many cards that actually counters this in response. Since this is sadly basic. If it would be quick, it would be a different thing. For constructed, pretty much the same applies. If you have 5 elementals in your Candlekin deck, you should be in a winning position. So you don't need this, and it's basic, and yeah. It's interesting, like, I think they could have gone for quick here. And the card would not be too strong if they went for quick. And then it's suddenly a contender for constructed as well. With quick action. But it's not quick, it's basic. And that makes a big difference. So you can play this limited, but I would... It looks a bit like a trap. It looks a bit like a trap. If you really have the deck where you can get 5 elementals reliably, then sure. But it's not easy to get this deck. Yeah, I would try to avoid this card in limited and constructed. It does look nice. Not sure what's going on there. Is this Livarv? Is this a Skion? Wait. Bring light to the dark, sight to the blind, and clarity to unlightened minds. We've come too far to give up now. Skion of Livarv. But Skion is a human, yeah? That's like this cleric. I guess a big beast in the background with Livarv? Not sure. Anyways. Exalted Commander. 4 cost. Deploy summon a Birdocrat. Birdocrat is a 1/1 flyer. And it has other troops you control have +1/+1. This has +1/+1 in all zones for each troop you control. Now, limited clear bomb. Like Anthem effect, with a solid body, and brings a flyer. Sure, that's... Again, there's no uncommon or common I would pick over this first pack. And then I will try, again, like with the other card, with the Dahlia, then I will try that this will make my deck. You shouldn't force too much, but a card like this is just so good that you should... At least you are highly incentivized to end up in those shards. And yeah, this goes along with any deck that plays many troops, which in limited are basically all decks. So much for limited. For constructed now. Maybe. I mean, they have to kill the commander, and then you still have a bird, so that's good. They don't kill the commander, they are probably in trouble. Even if you have, even on the empty board, it's 4 power. On the empty board, you have a 2/2 flyer and a 2/2 exalted commander. And the next turn you can play more troops, and then it is 3/3. Yeah. I don't know. Like, which would you play this in the what's the name? The Diamond Ruby deck with the banner. I forget the name of the champion. Would you play this in this deck? I guess not, because the other troops are just all necessary and good on their own, like the whole Valor interaction. This doesn't do anything for your Valor chain. And we have this, we have the Martyred Saint. And Martyred Saint, okay, Martyred Saint costs 5, but Martyred Saint comes back. And if it dies, it's still an Anthem. And Martyred Saint doesn't see much play at all. So I would assume if Martyred Saint doesn't see much play at all, this card shouldn't see much play for the same reasons. Huh? I don't know. We will have a rotation. So there aren't that many amazing cards. I guess the Haraza deck, Haraza was the name. The Diamond Ruby Haraza deck doesn't lose much at all. So maybe play this with the constant that has deploy some 3 Birdocrats. Play this. Play this 3 Birdocrats. Next turn play Exalted Commander. Attack for 6 in the air. I think it's definitely close. It's definitely close. Hard to say. I feel like I win more unless you can combo with it. Not sure if you are talking about the Exalt command or another card. The bird is a 2/2. Yeah, the bird is a 2/2 because it's anthemed. Other troops you control have +1/+1. If you kill the commander, it's just a 1/1, of course. But then you still have a card, at least, and you still have a flyer left. I think it's close enough. Close enough, at least, for people to try this out. In my momentum deck, it doesn't have a slot because I want to play cards with momentum. Yeah. Alright. Fortified Charge. 3-cost basic action, troops you control get +1/+1. Gain 1 health for each troop you control. Escalation. It's playable in limited, but nothing spectacular. It's excuse me. Yeah, so it's playable in limited, but you don't have to play it. It's not an exciting card. I mean, if you redraw it in your limited deck, then sure, the second activation is amazing, especially for your health gain, since then they gain 2 health for each troop you control. But yeah, you don't have to first pick this. You don't have to first or second pick this. It's just like it's not great. It's really not great. This will go like very far in your pack before someone picks it up. The effect is simply not that great. Constructed, no. Just no. Don't do this. You have so many good cards. Even for 3, that's like this. I think this could cost just 2, and then it would be maybe playable and constructed. For 2 cost. For 3 cost, it's a hard no. 30 platinum. Sell immediately for 100 platinum and be happy if someone buys it for 100 platinum on day 1. This has to be the bottom in terms of value. Guiding Light, 1 cost constant, deploy Fate Weave. When you play Resource, gain 1 health. So there we have a constant that has a deploy effect. So that will work with Dawn Charger. But it's just Fate Weave. So is this worth a card? That's the question here. In Limited you have this whole health gain theme. Like if you gain health, then your troops get some effect. And there this deck is okay. There this card is okay. But I don't know how good is the health gain deck in Limited. I guess it's okay if you get the cards. How good is it in your constant deck? In Limited? Not that good. It's just sure, it's just 1 resource, but it's a card. It's a card you have instead of any other card. And the effect is just Fate Weave, which is not card advantage, but card selection. And then gain 1 health for each resource you play. That's like the chant that gives you a threshold, and then you gain a health for each threshold you get. That saw some play because it was a chant. And it is fixing. This is not fixing, this is just very mediocre effect. So I guess you could play this in your Limited deck, but it's not something I want to play. Yeah. Constructed, you should have better constants than this one. Maybe a sideboard option against aggro decks. But what am I saying? No, it's not even good against aggro. Just want to play a 1 cost troop that can block, and not this. Hyperborean Elementalist. 6 cost 4/6 at the start of your turn. If you control an elemental, create a guidance and put it into your hand. 1 shot. So you get a 1 guidance. Very unexciting. This card will table. Most of the time this card will table. Just at 6 you want to play something that has a better effect. Just a 4/6 body, and then you get card advantage if you have an elemental on your next turn. That's very slow and with an if. It's filler card at best. Filler card at best. Try to not play this. And constructed I'm not even talking about. Hyperborean Huntmaster. 4 cost. Quick Troop. 3/2. Deploy. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by other cards this turn. This is interesting. All other cards. So you can go ahead, he attacks, you play this before blockers, and then you ambush 1/3 defense troop, like a 6/3, you block the 6/3 with this one. Your Huntmaster survives, because the 6/3 troop deals no damage. But the Huntmaster does deal damage, and the 6/3 dies, and then you take the rest, and the rest deals no damage, and then you take nothing. Or you can just, like, they make an alpha swing, and you play Fog, essentially. And then you kill them on the backswing. Yeah. I think this is first pickable. Definitely first pickable. I guess you could pick some very solid removal over this. But this card, I mean, yeah, you will ambush your opponent. He is not expecting a rare. He's not expecting this card, so you will get him good. I would first pick this. 9 out of 10. Yeah. Constructed. Lullaby is not. Lullaby rotates out, but this is not a good lullaby at 4 cost. I will say no. But maybe in some budget version deck. It's not terrible. In most constructed games, it will have some use, like, yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's a sideboard option. Not sure what's going on the picture, on the art. I don't know. Well, let's move on. In the Halls of Twilight. When you play Resource Verdict, constant for 3. This feels almost like a rare. But it isn't a rare. It's uncommon. I mean, this has to be very good and limited. How many verdicts will you get out of this? 3, 4, 5? That's good. Is this the first pick? Ah. I will pick many cards over this one. But if there's nothing great or removal, I will first pick this maybe? The thing is, Portal and Verdict are the two mechanics I can't really assess right now how good they are. Both limited and constructed. Momentum is easy to understand at least. But Verdict, there are so many choices that your opponent can have. It's a constant in itself, so it works with other constants. And the constants theme is great with Verdict. So limited, sure. Constructed. Verdict deck is the one I haven't even thought about really. how I would build this. Don't want to say straight no. I don't want to say straight no, so I would need to try this. It works in multiples as well. The constant. Yeah, I think this will make the BD constant deck, the Blood Diamond constant deck right now is certainly playable. The problem is it's easy to counter with sideboard cards. It doesn't change with this card, obviously. Let's look at the verdict options we have. Day Bounty. Each opposing champion draws a card. Each opposing champion summons a Daybreak. Opposing troops get +1/+1. Opposing champion summons a Phantom. Each opposing champion puts a random troop from their crypt into their hand. And then we have, those are other good versions, and then they can choose either a good version or a bad version. Summon Nightfall. Sacrifice an artifact or constant. Troops you control get -1/-1. This only appears if you have troops. If your opponent has troops, I mean. Discard a random card. I would assume this only appears if your opponent has a card in his hand. Sacrifice a troop you control. So how good is this is a single verdict trigger? I guess it's good. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. It's definitely an interesting mechanic. And it looks like fun. Yeah. Inner Fire. 2-cost quick action. Target 2B control gets +2/+2 and life drain this turn. Very solid combo trick in limited. You don't have to pick this highly, but you can pick this like at 5 and later. Pick 5 and later. Something like that. The life drain is relevant in limited, I feel like, to make a big swing. Yeah, it's in terms of combat tricks, this has to be one of the better ones. Yeah. Constructed. Yeah, you can be sad about it or be happy about it, but combat tricks don't usually make the cut in constructed. And this one won't either. Even against aggressive decks, I don't think you will sideboard this ever in constructed. Solid limited card. Kindle Kit. 1-cost beast, 0/1, basic 1-shot, exhaust, illuminate 1. Yeah, this works very nicely for the limited Candlekin deck, and maybe also nicely for the standard Candlekin deck. Like right now, you have not many good cheap illuminate options. You have the 1/3 cleric that where you have to pay 1 and then you illuminate, and then this one is better. This one is much better. You don't have to pay 1, you can do it on turn 2. You just have to exhaust, and you have to exhaust on your turn since it's basic. Basic is a little bit sad, but yeah. So you can jump block a later turn. I think this might make the cut in constructed as well. Why not? I will at least try it out. But now that I think about it, if I try to build the deck in reality, I will probably have more than enough cards that I want to play, and then this card is one of the first one that will be cut. Yeah. Solid limited card though. Nothing you have to pick high. Yeah. But I would not feel ashamed playing this in my limited deck. Yeah, it's solid. Solid enough. Light of Livanth. 2-cost basic action, illuminate 1, gain 3 health. Same. Nothing for constructed. In this case, definitely nothing for constructed. But limited, it's playable. It's worse than, for example, Kindle Kit in limited. Feels more like a filler. But it's not terrible if you have to play it just for the illuminate effect and gain 3. Gain 3, okay, it's like whatever. But yeah. Like if I would draft in a Candlecan deck, I would hope that I don't have to play this card, but maybe my 23rd card. But it would be one of the first cards I would cut from my limited deck, even if I am Illuminate. It's just not enough. 1 Illuminate for 2 at basic, gain 3, yeah, no. Luxguard. Or Lux. Whatever. Lux Lucas. Latin. Anyways, 4-cost, 3-2 flight, deploy Verdict. Yeah, very solid for limited. I mean, just a 3-2 flyer for forest, playable very much so in limited. And then you have Verdict on top, so you get your value. Yeah, this is one of the. Don't want to first pick this, but it's not. I mean, if I really like the Verdict deck in limited, why not first pick this, I guess? If there's nothing really amazing otherwise. I would try not to first pick this though. But it is really solid. Nothing for constructed, I will just go ahead and say. In the constant deck you don't play this. Just don't. And if you want pure Verdict, then you have better Verdict cards that do more verdicts than just one. Livanth Skylancers. 5-cost. 4 for flight, deploy, illuminate 2. Speaking about first pickable, this is definitely first pickable. And I would pick this over many rares. Maybe most rares, I don't know. It's a really strong card. You just have to consider like how many things can you take away from a card and it's still good in limited. And in this case you can make it illuminate 1 and still a solid limited card, and you can pick even that away and say just 5-cost 4 for flight, and it's still a solid card. 5-cost 4 for flight is very much playable in limited. And this has deploy illuminate 2 on top. This is like what's the name? This. Am I still online, by the way? Network error? I should be still online. Yeah. Okay. Let me just try to find the card. There's this 5-cost that also has deployed 2, and has a 4 body, and then you can sacrifice to give it invincible. I think it's Lady. Is it Lady? Lady of Vex. And I think this card here is better than Lady of Vex. Since the Lady of X to give it invincible, most times you don't need this. I played Lady of X in Constructed, and I think for flight is better than just this ability to sacrifice to give it invincible. Yeah, so this is better than the rare. Better than Lady of X. So that's all you need to know. So, limited bomb. So, yeah, better than many rares. Constructed, yeah, maybe. Actually, maybe. Lady of X was played, at least I played it. And this is better than Lady of X, so I have to say, yeah, I will try this. As one or two of in my standard deck. Narrow Escape. 1 cost quick action. Target card you control gets invincible. Which is good as a quick action. But put that card into your deck. Draw a card. When I first saw the card, I was thinking, wow, that's so good. This has to be 800 platinum or more. But at first sight, I didn't read put that card into your deck. Without that, it would be amazing. With that line, with put that card into your deck. Nah. So you save a card, so you save your troop from removal or from dying in combat. Even in combat, like, sure, it gets invincible, and then it doesn't deal damage because then it gets put into your deck, and then the troop that was blocked survives. Draw a card. Can't even play this on an empty board. You have to have a target. Yeah. Maybe there's some combo deck. I don't see it right now. Maybe there's more to the card than I see. That's just not good. Save a card by putting it back in your deck and then you draw a card. This is worth playing a card. I don't think so. I mean, I guess it's... I mean, if he plays removal, I play this. Then I draw a card for 1. And then my troop is still in the deck and I can play it later if I draw it. So... borderline playable and limited. But I don't think I want to play this. If I was able to draw a card just by itself without having to put a troop into my deck, then I would say okay, it's definitely playable. But this way, it's I don't know. I don't know. I will just say no. No for limited, no for constructed. And maybe I get proven otherwise. $31 plat, yeah. I do not agree here. The indestructible part has been quite good. You mean with Lady of Vex? Yeah, sometimes it has uses, but I think flight is better than indestructible for 1 turn if you sacrifice a troop. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Ochikiro 2 cost 2/2 life drain at the end of each turn. If you gain health this turn, Fate Weave. That's very good 2-drop unlimited. If you gain health this turn. But it has to survive, so you can't just attack and then it gets blocked with a 2/2. Then you don't get to Fate Weave. So you would need to find some kind of reoccurring health gain. Yeah, but it's a solid card and limited. Nothing you have to pick high, but middle in the pack. Early to middle in the pack. Constructed. I don't know. I really don't think so. I really don't think so. The level of 2-cost troops is quite high on Hex. And this is not good enough. Moving on. Overwhelming Guild. 3-cost. Basic. Destroy target exhausted troop. Verdict. Yeah, that's a very limited, very solid limited card. Especially in your Verdict theme deck. That's all you can say. I don't think this will ever make the cut for Constructed. Even in a constant deck, even in a Verdict deck, 3-cost basic destroy target exhausted troop. It's just not good enough. You can play, if you play Blood, you can play Hero Fall over this, and then getting kind of ridiculous. Yeah, but maybe rock deck. Limited. I mean, I will probably very rarely first pick this, but you can pick this quite early. Just removal. Removal is always good. Removal with upside is even better. Polar Ferret. 6 cost 4/6. Deploy void target opposing card. When this leaves play, put each card voided by it into play. Yeah. And for 4 cost, we have Frostform, which I guess is 4/1. Very solid limited card. And a very big ferret that you can eat an elk. Yeah, this is first pickable, I guess. Sure. On Frostform, there are many things that can kill it, especially if you play against Ruby. So I would try to play this on 6 instead of 4. But I might need to play this on 4, obviously. And then hope that it survives. Very high limited pick. If you don't first pick it, you can easily second pick, third pick this. Constructed. In a tempo deck as on 4 cost, even then it's not good. No. So you have this kind of cards in Hex, in Magic the Gathering as well, but those are cheaper than 4 usually, and that makes a big difference. So I will say no for Constructed. Priestess of Pure Flame. Priestess. Is there an arm missing? Is it Priestess or Priestess? Priestess. I guess Priestess. Sorry about that. So we have 2 for flight. Deploy another target troop you control gets momentum 1. When this attacks, trigger each troop you control's momentum. Again, that's weird wording. I guess it must be correct. Each troop you controls. Well, so limited first pickable bomb level if you have the momentum cards. So you pick this and then you try to go for the momentum deck unlimited. Because you get your value out of this. Constructed? No, just no. I thought about this very briefly, but it cost 5. You want to play something else. Just too slow and constructed. Not good enough. And that being said, also like 30, 40 platinum. Your Flame Protector. 3 cost, 2/2, momentum 1. Then another troop enters play under your control. It gets momentum equal to this troop's momentum. Limited bomb. Sure, first pick because it would be worth like, I guess 200, 300 platinum at the very least. Now, if it's more, that depends on is it constructed playable. And right now I have my doubts. Like, in my momentum deck I didn't include this one, but I'm very unsure. Like, maybe this is actually good enough. It's just that it isn't a very effective beta on turn 4. It just isn't. I guess if you play 2 shards on turn 4 it is, which is always possible. With the champion or with one of my favorite cards of the set, Palm of Granite. Always able to play 2 shards, I guess, on turn 4. And then it can attack reliably. But is it really worth it? It isn't because of the momentum 1, it has to be because of the other text. When another troop enters play under your control, it gets momentum equal to this troop's momentum. You play a shard, then it gets momentum 2, and then you can play a troop, and then this troop gets +2 momentum. And that might be actually good enough. Like I said, right now I don't have it in my preliminary momentum deck. But I could be very, very wrong, and this will actually see a lot of play. Limited, sure. For sure. Moving on, Righteous Exorcist. 3 cost 2/2 life drain. When you Fate Weave, this gets +1/+1. Permanently, by the way. Limited, very solid. I don't want to first pick this, but I can easily pick this early on. See myself picking this early on, and then try to find some amount of Fate Weave. The more the better. So for constructed, the lucky coins all have Fate Weave. Lucky coins you can create with cards like one of my favorite cards in the set. Was it a Shamrock, for example, or yeah, Leprechaun Artist. Those are all lucky coins. Lucky coins say gain 1/1 resource, and then you can Fate Weave. And then the other cards that are Fate Weave, obviously. And then this grows and grows and grows. That being said, I don't think this will make the cut in constructed. You have so many good 3-cost troops that you don't need to rely on this one. But for limited, Sure. Righteous Vex Shot. 1 cost, momentum 1. 0/1. And when this deals combat damage to an opposing champion, another random troop you control gets momentum 1. Priestess. Okay, Raphusius, thank you. Priestess. Without R. Okay. Notably, this is the only 1 cost troop with momentum. And for that reason alone, it will see a lot of constructed play, if momentum actually is a good constructed deck. Which we will all have to wait and see. I think it is, but I don't know. But like I said, it's the only card for 1 that has actually momentum. And that gets really big later on. And that's great for a 1-drop. 1-drop that is also a late game card. That's always the best. And the ability is also very reliably, very good. Like if they don't have a 1 cost troop, if you are on the play, you play this, then you play another momentum card, free combat, and then this all goes. That's all gets very quickly very bad for your opponent. Yeah. Unlimited, sure. I mean, it's bad late game, but that's with all 1-drops. I guess there's a better. Like a Ball Spasm is 3/1, even if you draw turn 10. This is just with 0/1, which you might not be able to attack on turn 10. But I would play this in my limited deck. Sure. Just for the potential to draw this and play this on turn 1. And I will think this actually will be a $2 to $3 card. 200, 300 platinum. At least I hope. Because if that's the case, then it means that the deck is actually good. I like it. I like it very much. For my constructed decks. At least for the momentum deck. Like in Heraza, you will probably play other cards. This has to be a momentum deck, otherwise it doesn't make much sense. Moving on, Runic Justice. Verdict, Runic. You get 2 verdicts in 2 turns for 2. Doesn't look good. The question is, where it all comes back to, how good is a single verdict trigger? And without having played just 1 game, I don't know. I can't really. I mean, I can read the cards, but I would need to have some feel for it, some experience to assess how good a single verdict trigger is. I would assume it's not that great. Then it's not worth a card. So maybe a filler card in my verdict deck in limited. But that's basically all. I don't think this will ever be played in constructed. Maybe in rock. But yeah, I don't think so. A more interesting card is this one. Seamstress. I hope that's how you say it. I have no idea. Seamstress. Seamstress of Velina. Velina. Anyways. 4 cost, 3/4 flight. When you seek adventure, the top card of your deck gets cost -1. When you seek fortune, draw a card. Now, adventure means you fade weave a non-resource card, and fortune means you fade weave a resource. Let's assess the body first. 4 cost 3/4 flight is definitely good enough for limited on its own. So, and then it has some upside. So limited, it's a clear bomb. First pickable for sure. Just for the 3/4 flight buddy. That's relatively easy. The harder part is to assess whether or not this is actually good and constructed. And I would say no. Because 3/4 flight buddy for 4 is just not what you want and constructed. You want to have something better. So the ability needs to make up for it. The extra line of text. But in this case it doesn't. Because at turn 4 and later, I guess I would say turn 5 and later, because it's unlikely will Fate Weave on the turn you play this on turn 4. So on turn 5 and later, you don't want to Fate Weave for resources, you want to Fate Weave for non-resource. And then the -1 cost is not that great. It just isn't. So drawing a card is great, but chances are you don't want to Fate Weave for resource. And then the -1. I'm sorry. A hard no for constructed. Prove me otherwise. Prove me wrong. Skylands Captain. 3 cost 2/1 flight. Momentum 1. When this deals combat damage to an opposing champion, illuminate 1. Limited clear bomb. A clear bomb. Like very clearly. Yeah. And there isn't much to say about it. You first pick this and then you are happy. You can even change your deck, like if by some chance like you get this to pack 3 or 4 and pack 1, then you just play this and play diamond. If you like open this at pack 2, then the question like, do you actually change? And that always depends on how good your picks are so far. What have you picked up pack 1 and what would you need to concede for it, basically, if you switch now. But yeah, there's always a possibility to switch to your deck at pack 2. Anyways, limited's very easy. Constructed, close. Very close. Very close, yeah. In both the Momentum deck and in the Kendoken deck. Very close for both decks, but, and that's the thing, not good enough in either, I feel like. That's like, it is so close to being a card in one of the two decks, but it ends up not being played in either one, I think. Since you need to connect, you need to deal combat damage first, and that's too unreliable, even with flight. And in the Momentum deck, Illuminate 1 isn't actually that helpful. Just a Momentum 1 on flight, okay. I don't think so. Yeah. No Puffin. 3 cost 1 for flight. When you Fate Weave, this gets +1/+1, and Steadfast this turn. And Frost Form 1, I guess it's a 1/1 flight. It's playable in limited. Nothing you are excited about, nothing you have to pick high. You can easily wheel this, so it will come back in the pack. Most likely. Because it's not a card people actually want to play. It's more like, okay, I play this if I have to. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not something you're excited about. That's all. Nothing for constructed. Just no. Alright. Sunlit Sentence. 5 cost quick action, destroy each attacking troop. And verdict. The good thing in limited, your opponent won't play around this. Even if you like top deck and then you pass the turn at 5 resources. I mean, it's a bit obvious if you have 6 cards in hand and you are passing the turn. But it's a rare. You could have all kinds of cards. You could have a combat trick, you could have some removal. Chances are he will not play around a rare. In limited, that is. So limited, first pickable. Very easy. Constructed. Well, close. The thing is, it's far easier to play around this than constructed because after a few weeks, people know which decks are being played, and if this is a card that actually sees play in constructed, then people will play around this. Then it gets obviously a lot weaker. Of note is that you can play this even without your opponent doing anything. You can just play this end of turn for 2 verdicts, which can be good enough. And the thing is always like, if they play around it, then they can't do what they want, then they can't full swing. And if they can attack with 1 troop and then still gets its value. Like, I think this might make the cut for constructed, actually. I think it does. I'm just not sure how the deck would look like. This is clearly a control card. Maybe with From the Ashes as an additional sweeper. In the verdict deck, I guess, yeah. So I will say people will try this in constructed, and then we will wait and see if it actually is good. Limited, first pick, bomb level, constructed, maybe. Sunrise Spectre. 1 cost, 1/1 flight. When you verdict, this gets +1/+1 in life drain this turn. Pickable and limited, nothing you have to pick high. The life drain is nice, I guess. You don't have to pick this very early. You can wait. Not a card you want. It's not a card like that makes you want to be diamond. It's okay, but it's this turn. Like, that's the thing. Like, if it was permanent, it would be a great card in limited, but it isn't permanent. So, yeah, it's okay. Constructed, I will just say no. Maybe there's some kind of a thing, but I don't think so. I mean, it's just 1 cost. Okay, I will not give a hard no. I will give a most likely no for constructed. I highly doubt it, though. More than highly. Threats of Life. Put target constant or troop with cost 4 or less from your crypt into play. Bait Weave. 3 cost basic action. Oh. Limited. This is actually very solid. First pickable? Nah, not really, but shortly behind that. Constructed. In constructed, we have cards like Azorva's Wish, which never saw any play. And Azorva's Wish is a better card than this, for sure. So I will say no for constructed just now. Wings of Vex. 3 cost constant. Deploy. Illuminate 1. Elemental skill control have flight. Now, that's nice. Flying Candles. That's really good in limited. That's bomb level good in limited, I feel like. Like you just try to stalemate the board in limited, and then you play this, and then you swing in the air for the alpha lethal thing. Yeah, this is definitely first pickable. Definitely. You could even play this as a 2 or 3 of unlimited. Sure, the second one does nothing extra, but it has Illuminate 1, if nothing else. And this is a kind of card like that's so good that you just want to make sure that you draw it. Now, Constructed. I guess it depends on the meta, how many flyers there are. Like, if the meta doesn't have any flyers, for example, the Haraza deck just doesn't have any flyers. And then you hope to close out the game on the same turn as you play this. Do you need this? Or do you just want to play a card like that has more Illuminate, and then you can just overwhelm your opponent? Like, even if he has blockers on the ground, he doesn't have enough. Maybe. I know I'm kind of very back and forth, very open, very non-conclusive with my assessments. At least partly, but what shall I say? I think this might make the cut for Constructed, but I'm very unsure about it. There's a dodge bomb. I hate this card just for the reason that I have to play around it. You mean the sunlit sentence? Yeah. I like the sunlit sentence. Yeah, but like I said, probably no for Constructed, but maybe. Winter's Grasp. 2-cost quick action, void target troop with 3 or less. Yeah, that's a cheap, quick removal. Conditional because 3 or less attack, but that's definitely a high pick in limited. Same level, you don't want to first pick this, but it's not terrible as a first pick. You want to have something more high value, more high impact, but it's very solid. Surely you are not unhappy to third, second, fourth pick, whatever. Constructed. I mean, you don't play this over Decree of Banishing, I guess. But you can play this your sideboard? Like all the vampires have 3 or less attack. Most aggro cards, Ruby aggro cards have 3 or less attack. It doesn't work against Matriarch, sadly. Like, they play Matriarch and then they play a Shard. Then you can't respond to that. The Blood Matriarch has 3 or less attack. Like, many troops have 3 or less attack. I guess it depends on the meta, how much we will see of this card. And then we will see it more likely in the sideboard. My guess would be we'll see very little of this card. But it depends on the meta. How many targets you find. And the most played Constructed decks. just at 2 costs, it's just a sheep remover, and if you can hit basically everything from your opponent because he has all fearless attack troops, then this is a great card. So it screams sideboard. Wrath of Elements. 1 cost quick action. Void target card with cost less than or equal to the number of elementals you control. Sure. Interesting picture. So pick this Unlimited and be happy about it if you are the deck. If you don't are the deck, you just never play this. You just don't pick this. Which is a good reason to go for the Candlekin deck. Like, that's the card that rewards you for being Candlekin and that no one else wants to pick up. So that's good. If you have like 2 or 3 elementals, it's already worth it in limited. And obviously, if you have more than 3, then it gets that much better. Is this good enough for Constructed and the Candlekin deck? Jeez. Maybe against aggro, because all their troops are... I don't know. I don't even know that. The sideboard card against aggro? Actually, no. I just want to trade with my troops instead of playing this one. Like, the thing is, in Constructed, if you reach the point and where this is really good, then you should be doing fine anyways. Notably, again, they can't really respond. Like, if you play this, and then they kill a Candlekin, then it doesn't matter, right? Or does it matter? Aha, rules question. So I have 3 Candlekin. I target a 3-cost troop. They respawn in killing one of my Candlekin. Now I have just 2 elementals. The Wrath of Elements resolves. And then, does it fizzle? Because it is an illegal target now? Let's wait. Let's wait if someone from chat can answer me this. So again, how does this work when I target a 3-cost troop, I have 3 elementals, and then they respond by killing one of my elementals? It would not work in MTG. I don't know about Hex. Yeah. Okay. I would guess it fizzles. I would guess it fizzles as well, but I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. Like, that's the thing with Hex, sadly. Like, very often I am in this position, I'm playing a game and I think I know what happens, but I'm not positive. And then I have no judge I can call. Like, back when I played MTG, I used to call a judge quite frequently. But here there is no judge. There isn't even a comprehensive rulebook where I could read this up. But I think it fizzles. And that's one more reason to not play this in Constructed. Alright. So much for this. Now, do I continue or do I continue another day? I guess I would need to do 2 shots and then I can the rest with one part. So yeah, sure. I will do 1 more shot and then I will do the rest on another day. Alright. Actually, I could skip over Ruby and Sapphire and do Wild because that's more interesting, and we had just like, I was talking the whole time about momentum with the diamond cards, and the other half of momentum would be Wild, so it would make sense for me to talk about Wild now, I guess. Let's do this. Although then I would need to talk about Leprechaun Artist, and there are only 3 cards: Shamrock, Illegal, Bully, and Leprechaun Artist. Leprechaun Artist and Shamrock make my constructed deck. The Bully does not. Although it's actually quite close, but no. Just no. This card isn't that terrible, I think. Yeah. So let's talk about Wild though. Wild. Alluring Ailmate. 3-cost Quick Troop. Deploy. You may play resource from your hand. 3/2. Now, I was asking this in Cornerstone chat, and we weren't like 100% sure. Again, rule question. But we all thought that this would allow you to play an additional resource. Like, you play a resource, and then you play this, and then you have like, then you can play, then you get the question, do you want to play a resource? And you click yes, and then you click the resource, and then you can play an additional resource, so to say. And I hope that's how it works. Like, otherwise, this would only be the upside of playing a resource on speed, on quick, as a quick action, so to say. So again, if someone can clear this up for me, but I think you can play an additional resources to the Ailmate, and then this card is great. Because this is a quick way to trigger your momentum. Like, there's this nice interaction with the Leprechaun Artist. You play Leprechaun Artist turn 2, play a shard turn 3, this is a 2/2 then. And then you attack with the Leprechaun Artist, you get a lucky coin. Then you play the Ailmate after blockers. And then you play the lucky coin. And then the Leprechaun Artist triggers again. And you are at a 4/4 with the Leprechaun Artist. And that's great. I hope that's how it works. Huh? No answers from the chat. I guess you guys aren't sure as well. But I would think it means that you can play an additional resource as your deploy effect. Otherwise, it's not that great. But if it is this way, like you can play an additional resource, then it is a very strong constructed contender. Limited, sure. Same. I mean, you can trigger your momentum troops at instant speed, and it's a quick troop that can ambush an attacker. You don't have to first pick this, because on its own it's not that high impact, but you can first pick this with a clear plan in mind of going momentum or ramp. I wouldn't not pick this in the hopes that it comes back, because I don't think it will come back. So I will try to pick this very highly. Moving on though, because no one answered my question. Aha, Ralphusius. Because it is quick, I would assume so. There are no reasons for it to be quick otherwise. Well, you could say, like, you can play 1 resource per turn, but the quick allows you to play the resource for your turn at instant speed and even on your opponent's turn. So there would be still reason for it to be quick. But yeah. I hope this is additional resource. Anyways, Arking wins. Big action. Destroy up to 3 target constants. So right now we have Nature Rains, which destroys a target constant or artifact, which is better against Dark Desire, a Dark Heart of Nulzahn, against all the Nulzahns. If you are Diamond, you have Cleansing Light, which destroys all constants. But then it also destroys your own constants. And like if you destroy 3 enemy constants instead of 4 or 5, it still should be good enough. So I think you would actually, like if you play constants yourself, you play this over Scouring Light. If you don't play any constants at all, you play Scouring Light over this, obviously. Yeah. Like in my Momentum deck, I keep talking about, I will probably play Decree of Banishing, and then I will play this in my sideboard instead of Scouring Light against the constant deck. Yeah, limited, it's also just a sideboard option. You will never want to main deck this. Again, also always remember, runes are constants. Yeah. Again, obviously great against the constant deck, with the Verdict deck. Moving on, Baroness Floriana. To cast 2/2, other plants you control have +1/+1. Other undead you control have +1/+1 and lethal. And plants have +1/+1 and steadfast. And she herself is a plant, fey, and unique. Sadly, she is unique. But this is actually another constructed deck right there. She would be the centerpiece of another constructed deck, centering around Blightbush, Blightblossom, and the champ that has gets a Deathcry to create 2 Blightblossoms. Blightblossoms are both undead and plants, so each 1/1 is not a 1/1 but a 3/3 steadfast lethal. With this in play. And that's quite good. Especially with cards like Blightbush, which also are undead plants. Yeah. And then you have like the blood removal, which is very high impact. Dream's End. Destroy target troop, trigger the death cries of each troop you control. And this gets out of hand easily, so she is a must answer. Yeah, I like it. I really do. So the unique isn't that terrible, because they have to answer this, and then you can play the next one. It's bad against Hero Fall, obviously. Unique is always bad against Hero Fall. But I still would like to play this as a 3 or 4 off in this kind of deck and constructed. Probably just, I mean, do you want to play 4 as a unique troop? Probably not. No, 3 has to be the number. And I mean, limited, you can first pick this and then build your deck around this, and it should, I mean, sure. Limited is much rarer in removal is much harder to come by in limited than in constructed. The chances are your opponent can't really respond with removal in time. And then he can't attack because everything you have is lethal. Well, you have to build your deck around this, obviously. But there are enough undead and there are enough plants that you can do this. And then you have to play this champ that has Deathcry summoned to Blightblossom. Yeah, so yes and yes on limited and constructed. First pickable, and this could be the centerpiece of a constructed deck, which I will try out and I'm not sure if it's actually a constructed deck or if this is just a fever dream of mine. But I think it could work out. The champion also has 25 starting health. The champion I'm talking about. So that's good. Yeah, I am excited about this one. Yeah, moving on. Blighted Seedbearer. 6 cost 6/4. Deploy, summon a random plant with cost 3 or less. Deathcry, summon a random plant with cost 4 or more. Yeah, that's the bomb in limited. It's a 2-for-1 or even 3-for-1. Maybe they don't even want to trade with this because they are afraid of the Deathcry. Yeah, so clearly a first pick. Now, that's the easy part again. Limited, like all those cards that don't make the card for constructed can be a limited bomb. This is a limited bomb. I don't think this will be good enough in constructed, but let me have a quick look, at least a quick look, to see what targets we have for 3 and 4. Let's select set 8, 7, 6, 5. Race, not race. Faction, no. What am I looking for? Class, no. Damn. Trade. Plant. Cost 3 and 4. Gallows Ask, Nether Bloom, Blightseed Cultivator, Thorn Pop, Dauntless Root Shaper, Herald of Thorns, Necronettle, Poppy Pop. I mean, they are pretty solid. Especially the 4-cost ones are really solid. The 4-cost ones are all really solid. Except, I guess, the Plume Burster, which is... Just 6 is a high cost. A really high cost. Can play Red Paw Gang for 6. Can play Vampire Queen, which I guess has no death cries. That doesn't make the most sense. Is this better than Vampire Queen, for example? I guess it is. I guess it's better than Vampire Queen. And Vampire Queen sees play. So this should see play as well. But Vampire Queen is blood and this is wild, and wild has better 6-cost troops. The 4-cost plants are all really good. I can just imagine you get a Gallows Ask. What's the name? Gallows Oak. So I say maybe. Plume Burster. I mean, maybe it's just very... like, I don't have to say anything, but... my prediction would be no, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually sees play in some constructed decks. Maybe I will try it out myself in this Floriana deck. But the Seedbearer itself is not plant or undead, so that's quite sad. But plants are plants, and some of them are undead. So that's that. Gloomburster, 4 cost, 4/2, create a wild shard and put it into your hand at the Death Cry. That's the one 4 cost from the Seed Bearer that wouldn't be that great. Not terrible though. It's also Undead Plant, but I don't think it will make a slot in this Floriana deck. Like, you have enough Undead Plants that you don't need to play this one. Limited though, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Probably don't need to the other Wild Shard. But it also works in your Momentum deck. It's like a filler kind of card in your Momentum deck. It's really not that terrible. Interesting picture. Bit gross, but that's by design. So I would say you can pick this up without being unhappy. It's nothing you have to pick highly. And pick anything above it, basically, but it's nothing you have to be ashamed of if it's in your deck. It's more than filler. It's on the low end of solid, but it's still solid. You will probably like not attack with this unlimited and just stay behind to trade with 4 toughness troops. Also good with Furiko, I guess. Furiko is one of the best champs unlimited. Yeah. Blossoming Brawn. 5 cost, quick action, target troop you control gets +4/+4. That's permanent, by the way. This is a combo trick that's also a buff, a permanent buff. I think that's very good in limited. Very good in limited. You can play this as a combo trick to kill a troop, and then they have something they have to worry about. Yeah, very sad if they kill your troop in response, but that's the risk you have to take. I don't first pick this, but it's very close behind that, so it's like in the first third. Yeah, it's for constructed, even though it's permanent, it's just at 5 cost there are too many quick responses that make this not working. So it's a solid no for constructed, and a solid yes for limited. Like, this is a card, if you open it in a limited pool and you decide to play wild, then you will play this card, I think. 9 out of 10. The 1 out of 10, if you don't play this card in your limited sealed deck, then it's because your wild deck is so good that you don't need this, but this seems rather unlikely. Like, again, yeah, there's a risk to getting for the troop to getting killed in response, but yeah, if it doesn't get killed, then you are in a good spot. Rosie's Bouncer. 4 cost, 4/5 Crush. When this deals combat damage to an opposing champion, transform each other troop you control into another random troop with cost +2. 4 cost, 4/5 Crush. With some interesting line of text on top. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Limited, I mean, a clear bomb level card. Like, I don't think they will want this to actually trigger your opponent. So they have to put 4 defense because Crush. So limited, we don't have to talk about it. It's clear first pickable, very high bomb. Yeah, always happy and excited to play this in limited. Like, that's one of the cards you are excited about. Yeah, I can play this and this will be great. But for constructed, I think it's pretty darn close. The thing is, you usually don't want your troops to transform into random troops, but random troops with cost 2/2, that's hopefully good. Like, there's a Diamond Sapphire transform deck in constructed, at least in theory. The issue is, like, all those troops have something like when another troop transforms, trigger something. So if you attack with this and then all your troops transform, no troop is left to trigger a transform effect. That's like sad. That's the sad part. So this actually doesn't quite work out. It's a 4/5 buddy 4/4 with crush. That alone is good. It doesn't die to strangle. Yeah, doesn't die to strangle. That's important. It is a very good blocker on turn 4. And if you have like, you can also maybe in the Floriana deck with plants, but then transform into 3 cost. I think you will want to play some other deck and construct it instead of the plant deck. So will this makes a cut. I'm sorry, I have again used the word maybe. My guess would be no. Which is quite sad. I want this card to actually make a constructed deck. Other random effects are kind of tilting. But yeah. Sadly, it's each other troop you control. That's sadly doesn't work out. With all the cards that trigger when you transform, like this one, Whimsy's Familia. Not like you would actually play this in your constructed deck, but here's the issue. It says when another troop you control transforms. But this won't trigger because the troop itself, the Familia, would be transformed. Yeah. I don't think this will work out, sadly. Or constructed. This one, on the other hand, the Exalted Pathfinder, the last of the Exalted cards, at least in the order I did them. But in the order of playability, this is the first one. Let's very quickly say the same thing we have said so many times. Limited, it's a bomb. Your first pick is blah blah blah. Be happy, so on, so on, so on. The far more interesting part is how much constructed viability do we have here. And I think we do have constructed playability here. Like in my preliminary build Diamond Wild Momentum deck, this has a slot as a 2-off right now. With the champ that I think is amazing, Lady Avalanche, you can play the Exalted card. You can play Infamous Neo and then activate Lady Avalanche. And then play a resource and get value immediately. Then I still have to deal this. Have to answer this. Yeah, drawing a card. Come on. This has to be good. That's almost like... The effect is so good that you would think this has to work out somehow. Question is which configuration exactly? I don't know. But this has to be good somehow. When you play resource draw a card on a body that is actually decent in itself, because of the momentum, it's actually decent. You would think this has to work out somehow for constructed. Like, how can it not? Those kind of effects. And again, with the Lady Avalanche or with Palm of Granite, suddenly you can make sure you draw your cards. Yeah, this is the best one of the Exalted cards. Not unique. Everything good. Also, like Ardent, not sure if that matters. Yeah. This is a this is a style of card. Like I like my wild-based mid-range grindy decks, like with Rutherford Banks, and like I played in Immortal with Fire's Child. And this is a kind of card that I just like. Like, that makes sure I will win the late game with my mid-range kind of deck. Or helps me win the late game, hopefully. I'm very excited about this one. Very excited. Moving on. Dueling Station. 4 cost, troops you control have Gladiator 2 as a constant. So Unlimited, this is a +2 on your turn, +2 defense on the opponent's turn. Yeah, this card isn't that good. It looks better than it really is, I think. You much rather want to play a troop on turn 4. Like, if you play a 3-4 with Gladiator 1, something like that, instead of this, that's probably better. Like, the Gladiator deck is not a deck that swarms, more a deck that has high value troops. And if you are a swarm deck, you have better things than this, I feel like. I mean, I do like the Fairfuel picture. Very interesting. The artwork, I mean. But besides the artwork, do I play this in limited? I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, in a very grindy deck, in a very grindy matchup, this will be good, of course. But again, I much rather want to have it for a good troop instead of this one. So it's not a high pick by any stretch of the imagination, for me at least. But I assume this card will be picked fairly high, higher than it should be in limited. I would want for this of this card. And I don't think it will ever make an impact in Constructed. Just want to have something that actually does something for guaranteed. Not just because you have a 2 cost and a 3 cost troop. Something more, something better, some speed troop on turn 4. I don't know, anything. Just not good enough for Constructed. Queen Grimplekin. 2 cost, 1/1 lethal. When you Fate Weaver, random troop you control gets +1/+1. So just for the lethal, I think this is playable in limited for sure. As a blocker. A random troop you control gets +1/+1. That's permanent though. So this is very solid actually in limited. Nothing that drives me into playing green necessarily, playing wild. And it's not like I see this as a third card in my pack 1 and then I think, oh, now I have to play wild. Not that good. But it's a solid pickup. I mean, the Fate Weave. You have 1/1 lethal troops, and those are okay, but not really that great. And this one is that better than a 1/1 lethal troop? Is it actually better than a 1/1 lethal troop? If you have like 4, 5, 6 Fate Weave cards, I guess it is. But not by much. So, yeah. Solid, but really not that. Hard to talk about those cards. Like, easy to contradict yourself. But I would say it's not a high pick by any means. And just no for Constructed. Just no. Moving on, Happy, the high hero, 3 cost 2/4. You have a legendary here, so let's see. When another card enters your crypt, transform it into a random card of the same charts and put it into your deck. When you play a transformed card, draw a card. So Crota told me 2 days ago that any portal counts as a transformed card when you play it. So that's that. So this would be a part of a portal deck in Constructed. Now, I have not the slightest idea. That's a deck I haven't even really looked at. How would a constructed portal deck look like? I guess it's Ruby Wild, and then I don't know, mid range. I don't know. I can't say. I can't say if that's good. I actually don't hope that Portal in Constructed will be good because it's random. I don't want it to be good, but maybe it will be good. I don't know. And this will be a part of that, I guess. Or part of the Wild Sapphire Transform deck. Of note, this works with Brittle cards, Frostform. Like a Frostform card is a transformed card. So that's maybe you can do something with that. Frostform your card, play this card, the Frostform card, draw a card, play another Frostform card. Oh. The thing here is, when another card enters your crypt, transform it into a random card of the same shards and put it into your deck. That's actually bad. That's actually bad. If your high hero survives the whole time, then okay. But you still have to play the random card first to draw a card. So you make your deck worse with this. I feel like you make your deck worse. Surely, because of random. Random is too random. So actually, without that line, without the first sentence, the card would be much better. Which sounds a bit strange, I guess. But I would like the card much more without the first part. I mean, so Unlimited you have many Frostform cards you actually will want to play, so that works. You have Portal cards you will want to play, so that works as well. And you have, no, I guess nothing else. You have to play the Transform card. And in Limited, the first part is actually not that great, not that bad. In Limited, random cards might be better than the average of your deck. Including shards, of course. In Constructed, it's not. But in Limited, it's not that bad to get random cards in your deck. So Limited is bomb quality, easy bomb quality. And you pick up some Frostform cards, some Portal cards. Constructed, I think the most of the Frostform cards are not that great. They're just not that great in Constructed. The Frostform cards. In Portal, I don't know. I don't want to even say something about in Portal for Constructed because I have no idea. You would think that, like, from the pure power level and the card advantage you can have, Portal could work out in Constructed. So there's that. And then this card could be clearly an inclusion. So let's say maybe. But I do think this card is a bit overestimated. Overvalued. Like, if I open this on day one, I will list it immediately, and I think it will go down in value pretty quickly. Like, this card could actually, on day one, it could be valued over 1k platinum easily. But I don't think it should be valued that high. But I guess only time will tell. Herald of Thorns, 4-cost Undead Plant. There we have, like, the Undead Plant for Floriana. and it actually has an interesting, or I should say, important text. Skyguard, other plants you control have +1 attack, +1 defense, +2 defense. We have a 4-cost 3/4 body Skyguard, and other plants you control have +1 attack, +2 defense. Yeah, that's good enough, right? And I think it is. That's good enough for constructed, I think, in this particular deck. Like, this is a plant under deck. Like, this is a very specific deck. A very narrow specific deck, like, obviously. With a champion that says for 4 charges, Deathcry, summon 2 Blight Blossoms. Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's good. I might be wrong, but I think this deck will actually work out. Limited, sure. It's just the 3/4 Skyguard for 4 would be playable. Like, this rule I said before, like, how many things can you take away from the card and it would still be good? You would still play it in limited. And you could take away the Skyguard. You could take away other plants you control have +1, +2, and you would still play it. If you take away both the Skyguard and the other plants you control, then it's just a 4 cost 3/4, and then it's not actually good and limited. But even that would be filler quality. Bad filler. But with the 2 lines, Skyguard and other plants you control, then it gets really good and limited. Like, I would even say you can first pick this and then build your deck around it. Like, I would actually think that this plant archetype, the Deathcry archetype, won't see that much play in limited because people don't expect it necessarily. But I think it might be good. Yeah. Even if you don't have any plans other than that, it's still a 3/4 Skyguard. Good. Moving on, Jack Colossus. We have a 5-cost 3/7 with Crush. That in itself is not good, but it is legendary, so there must be something to it. Opposing troops must block this if able. Okay. When this becomes blocked, this gets Gladiator 2. Another rule question. When this becomes blocked, what does that mean? Does it mean for each troop that blocks it? Or just once? Like, if I block with 5, if my opponent, he has to block. So he blocks with 5 troops because he has to. Does this trigger 5 times? Or does this trigger just 1 time? Because that's a very important part here. Waiting for responses for my rules question on the Jack Colossus. I would assume it triggers for each troop. And then this card actually is good. If it doesn't, then it's No idea. I assume it triggers for all of them. Yeah, okay. Assumptions I have myself. Like to would assume that it triggers for each troop. Just that it would make sense that each opposing troop must block this if able, and then it triggers for each one. Then this card actually is good. But even if not, I mean, it's lore. So every troop has to block this. And every other troop is unblocked. This might be... I think this is actually better than it first looks. Like, I would assume that at first you would think, yeah, it's okay, but it's not that great. But the more you think about it, and then you actually try it, and you find out, wow, that's actually more than just good. That's actually pretty game deciding on its own. Like, every other troop gets through. And this one has crush, and then if it triggers for each troop, then you're actually killing the whole board. Suddenly. Same with Speed Banner. The card I'm still contemplating if it's a money card or not. Rock 2.0. Latest Dinkon Soup. Well, okay, limited, same thing. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Pick it, play it, blah blah blah. Constructed. If it works the way we think it works, that it gets Gladiator 2 for each troop it blocks, then I think we are talking money. Then I think we are talking money. Speed Banner. Speed Banner, Speed Banner. Everything is better with Speed Banner. They have to kill this. Because otherwise the other troops kill them. It's a 5-7 at least. Or your opponent has no troops. Then it is... well, then you are winning anyways. So I say yes to Constructed. I'm not sure in which deck. I'm not sure I played this in my Momentum deck. Or what other deck, I don't know. But this card, I think it's actually better than you first think it is, if you understand what I mean. Because of the lure effect, because of this, opposing troops must block this if able. Which means that every other troop you attack with gets unblocked. Yeah. I mean, if it really is for each troop, Predator 2, then it must be good. Then it must be 1k platinum or more. Not sure. 1k platinum is already quite much. Let's rather say 500 to 800. That's probably a more safer bet. Also a 5 cost. I don't think you want to play more than 3. Maybe just 2. Yeah, so 1k is probably above what it really is worth. But it's very interesting. Yeah. It's good. Definitely good. Definitely good. Alright. Jubilant Destiny. 7 cost. Summon up to 3 random troops with combined cost 10. While you control 3 or more transformed troops, this has cost -5 in all zones. First of all, I'm not sure how about the templating. Summon up to 3? So you could summon just a 10 cost troop? And then it's still up to 3? Or you can summon an 8 cost and a 2 cost? Like, this is also random. Like, it's all kinds of possibilities. While you control 3 or more transformed troops. So this is a payoff card in your Wild Sapphire Transform deck. It's so goddamn random. So goddamn random. Limited, sure. Limited, you don't mind the randomness. This is good. This is just good. This is just good all around. Maybe, I mean, you have all the Frostform cards you are playing. So hopefully you will have 3 or more transformed cards. Troops. You can play your champion, then you have one more transformed troop. And you play this for 2, and you get 10 cost troops. For constructed, I think, because of the all-around randomness of the result, and the fact that the payoff only is there, the -5 cost, if you are already in a spot where you should be winning because you have 3 or more transformed troops on board, which means you're probably ahead. And then, I don't know, then if you are ahead already, then you don't really need this, I guess. You want to play cards that are good even if you are not ahead, and just not cards that are good only when you are ahead. And this is a card that is only good when you are ahead. And then is it game winning? Not necessarily. It's helping to win the game, but it's not game winning itself when you are already ahead. So just no for constructed. No. And limited, I guess you don't have to first pick this. I mean, if I find a very solid uncommon like the Skylancers, I think I pick the Skylancers every time above a card like Jubilant Destiny. I don't even have to second pick this. I mean, it's okay though. It's not necessarily wrong to first pick this. Yeah, depends on the pack. Depends. Lumbering Gamadon. 6 cost, 6/4, crush, create an uncommon portal and put it into your hand. Constructed, first of all, you will never play this, I guess, even in the portal deck. I don't know how it looks like, but I can't imagine that it looks like that you would play this card. Limited, though, sure. Card advantage, common portal. Every turn another common card, and then you can decide do you want to play the common card or not. The 6/4 for 6 with crush, that's okay. In itself, it wouldn't be okay, it wouldn't be enough, but with the death cry, sure. First is fall burst deploy, but it's death cry, which makes it worse. So it's actually more filler level. It's fall burst deploy, not death cry. Okay, then it's more filler level than anything else in limited. But not a very bad filler level, one of the better fillers. And I skipped the card over. And an interesting card. Jubilant Jouster. Solid limited card. Definitely. I like the momentum theme. The question is how many people want to play the momentum theme. That depends on how high you pick this, I guess. But I think it's good. And like I said, here's an interesting part. There aren't that many momentum cards, especially cheap momentum cards. And right now I have this in my preliminary momentum deck over the Brighthammer Adept, but that could change. But I think Crush is better than Fate Weave or something. Crush on momentum works nicely, because the troop gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Merry Maple, at the start of your turn, transform another target troop you control into a Merry Squirrel. And it's a 5 cost 3/6 plant. Merry Squirrels are 6/6 that transform back at the start of your next turn. The start of your turn. It's okay in limited. Actually, I wouldn't mind this being uncommon. It doesn't have to be uncommon, I think. Not that fantastic and limited that it has to be uncommon. It's okay in limited. It's 5 cost, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Sure. I will play this if I am the archetype, even if I am just a wild deck, I will play this. 9 out of 10 out of 10 again. But not a card that really makes me want to be wild. Not a card I see and then think, yeah, now you switch to wild. More nice to have. I don't know how good the transform archetype will be in limited, that's the thing. Constructed, I would just say no. If you compare it to the other 5 costs we just had, doesn't matter the transform. This is just a much better 5 cost troop. So a hard no for constructed. Berry Mascot, 2 cost 2/2, 2/3. 2/3, not 2/2. And then it has basic 7, transform each troop you control into another random troop of the same shards and with cost +1. So easy part first, constructed. I will say just no. Because I don't want this ability. Each troop you control into another random card with cost +1 for 7 at basic. That's not good. I have 7 cost. If I do something for 7, I want to win the game that turn. And it might be that my transformed troops are actually worse than the troops I had before. So just a hard no. Limited though, it's really good, right? It's a 2 cost, 2/3, and that's in itself is good. And the ability in limited is much better than constructed, because in limited you have many mediocre troops, and then the chances are that they are transformed into something better with the +1 cost. Yeah, and like I said, you would play a 2 cost, 2/3 sometimes, I guess, oftentimes. And then it has the upside, and the upside is actually good. Yeah. Yeah, but in terms of how high do you value this? We'll never first pick this, but it's okay. Very solid. Merrymaker, 1 cost 1/1. When you Fate Weave, transform this into a random troop with cost +1. It retains this power. This is interesting, right? This is a 1 cost troop that actually wins you late game, hopefully, with enough Fate Weave. But this is so strange. Like, this is just all around bad late game. If you play this on turn 1 and then you Fate Weave turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, maybe twice a turn, then it gets really good. But if you draw this turn 4, then it's like, what? I don't know. Limited, if you have really a good amount of Fate Weave, then sure, it will never be terrible. Limited, at the worst, you have a 1 cost 1/1. So you don't play this in limited if you don't have Fate Weave. You should have at least 3 or 4 other Fate Weave cards before I consider playing this. But then you can actually play this. The more the better, obviously. But yeah. Random 2 cost troops are okay enough. And then it can get even better and better and better. Not a card you have to pick highly though, not a card that you have to take. And constructed, I mean, so again, all the lucky coins also say Fate Weave. But maybe in the transform deck and the Wild Sapphire transform deck. which is also relevant for limited because it triggers all cards that say when another troop you control transforms. But do you have much Fate Weave in that deck? Constructed on the Wild Sapphire one? Maybe? That's a card I have to brew. Like, I think we have potential for constructed here, and other people would say maybe clearly no for constructed, but I think there's potential, believe it or not. Because, again, a 1-cost troop that actually is very relevant or can be very relevant late game. It gets better and better late game. And then if you are at 7, 8, 9, 10, then suddenly just wins. And it gets better every turn. It's not like it suddenly is better on turn 10 and before it was just a 1-1. No, it's every step by step, turn for turn, it gets just a little better. And then you can start attacking, and then yeah. At some point they have to answer this. If your deck is built correctly, I guess. I don't know. This is like a quest card. Like, I have to make this work. I feel like I want to make this work. Mud Rider. 3-cost 3/3 Gladiator 1 Crush. When this deals combat damage to an opposing champion, troops you control get Gladiator 1. First pickable in limited, for sure. I mean, just great in limited. If you just connect with this once, you are happy. You can take stuff away and it's still a high pick in limited, so it's a clear bump. Now, constructed. I was never a big fan of the Gladiator deck in constructed. Feels a bit awkward for me personally. I know other people have fun with it, I guess. It's not my style exactly. It's a little bit too aggressive for me. It's mid-range, but it's more the mid-range aggressive type, not the mid-range late game type. I don't know. This Gladiator deck, Diamond, Ruby Wild, could actually be good and constructed. Could actually be the case. And this card is good. 4/3 Crush. And then if he takes damage, suddenly all your troops are getting better. Yeah, it's good. Good with the combo trick. Like, that's the kind of combo trick you want to play in constructed then. A +2/+2 and additional +2/+2 if the troop has Gladiator. For 1 resource. And then a troop with Crush? That's amazing. Attack with 4/3, then give it +4/+4. 7/6? No. 4/4. 8/7. 8/7 with Crush. And then your troops all get better. I think this could actually work out. It's not the deck I will test. Like the deck I don't want to play because it's not my style, but that being said, it could be very strong. So I say yes to constructed playability. Like, everything, you have to consider that set 3, set 4 rotates. All the meta decks are getting changed. Not all the meta decks, like the Haraza deck is pretty much untouched. That's a bit scary. But what I'm saying is there's doors open for a Gladiator deck to maybe be good. And then this card, I assume, would be part of it. Pack Pamela, 3-cost Gladiator 2 Crush. And this deals combat damage to an opposing champion Fate Weave. That's 4/2 and then 2/4. 4/2 with Crush. And then you Fate Weave. Solid and limited. I think you have better options in Constructed. Like if you compare it with the card we just had with the Mud Rider, which card would you play at 3 in Constructed? Mud Rider or the Puck Pummeler? Well, it's not close. The Mud Rider is much better. So I will say no for Constructed. Palm of Granite. Because basic, play a random wild shard from your deck. Put a random wild shard from your deck into your hand. This card is amazing. Now, I actually think you will see this card more often in Constructed than in Limited. Although Limited is also good for the Momentum deck, obviously. But that's like a very limited amount of decks that this will be played in. I guess you could play it as a ramp card to play it from 3 to 5 on your next turn. But I don't want to talk about limited implications because I don't know. Unexciting. Not a high pick. But it's a pick you are not unhappy about. But the more interesting part is Constructed. Now, in the past we had Howling Brave and Chlorophilia as ramp. And those are 2 ramp cards that are actually almost too good if you compare it with Magic the Gathering. Like we have Howling Brave, they have Llanowar. Howling Brave is much better. They have Rampant Growth, we have Chlorophilia. Chlorophilia is much better. So they chose to not print those cards anymore. And then we sadly had Runic Growth, which is also ramp, but not good. Runic Growth is just not good, I'm sorry. So then they went the other direction. Then they made ramp cards that are actually not good enough. Here the Mother Earth, or what's the name? Earth Mother. Let me just look this up. Mother, I think. Mother something. Earth Mother. 0-3 diligence, gain 1/1. Gain 0/1 even. Yeah, the Earth Mother is just not good, I think. So then they basically printed ramp that's just not good at all, that saw little to no play. And now they are kind of hitting the sweet spot again. Like the Palm of Granite is where I think it's not too bad and not too good. The Chlorophilia was too good and Runic Growth was sadly too bad. This is just in the middle between. Worse than Chlorophilia, better than Runic Growth. Now, you play this, then you have 1 resource, like with Chlorophilia, then you can play 1 drop, like Guidance, or I don't know, any 1 drop. And the important part, you get another Wild Shard in your hand, which by the way also triggers Runic. And it doesn't only trigger Runic, it also works with Lady Avalanche. Like I read Bootlace's article on Hex Primal. He basically said, I can't imagine that this works because then it would be too good. But here I'm pretty sure about how the rules work. So Lady Avalanche reads, target troop you control gets momentum 1. So you need a target, that's important. On an empty board, you can't use this. You can play an additional resource this turn. Target troop you control. Anyways, so if you have a troop, then this works. Then you ramp from 3 to 6 on your next turn. From 3 to 6 on your next turn. And you trigger momentum twice. Actually 3 times. So that's why this card is so amazing in momentum deck. You play momentum card on 1, momentum card on 2, then on 3. You play Palm of Granite. You play a Wild Shard from your deck with a Palm of Granite. Then you play wait, until 3. So sorry, again. So momentum group on 1, on 2, on 3, you trigger momentum once because you play a third shard. Then you play Palm of Granite, trigger momentum a second time. Then you get a Wild Shard in your hand. You just gain a shard because of Palm of Granite, so you have 4 charges. You activate Lady Avalanche and trigger momentum a third time. That's pretty good. I mean, you only have 2 troops, but sure. Those troops are pretty big. Yeah, so this card allows you to trigger momentum twice or 3 times in a turn even. Lady Avalanche. And it makes sure that you don't run out of triggers, out of resources to trigger momentum. I think this is actually better for the momentum effect than for the pure ramp effect. Like, you can play this outside of momentum for a pure ramp version, but I'm not sure how that deck would look like. What are you ramping into? Wildlife? The XX card? I guess. But as I said, I'm more about excited because of the momentum implications than for the ramp implications. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot of this card. Pipit Pal. 3 cost, 1/4. Talking about momentum. You can play an additional resource on each of your turns. You trigger momentum twice. You can also ramp. Again, I think the more interesting part is the momentum additional trigger. And for 7, transform target troop you control into a random wild troop with cost 7 or greater. Interesting, again, this does not say revert. It just says transform. So, with your momentum cards, that means you play your 2 resources, you trigger momentum twice, you trigger momentum a turn before, maybe 2 turns before, so you have like, let's say a 7/7 troop, a 1/1 that is +6/+6, then you activate 7, and it transforms into a 7 cost troop that then has +6/+6. So this is good. Yeah. Limited bomb possible resource sink for constructed ramp. Yeah, I think I'm more excited about constructed than for limited with this card. Sure, it's good in limited, don't get me wrong. I will play this in limited. And it qualifies definitely as a limited bomb, as a first pick and everything. But yeah, I'm very excited about this actually playing in my constructed deck, my momentum deck. Since it gets me something for my resources that I all played, that I ramped into with Palm of Granite and Lady Avalanche, and it works with momentum. Only downside, it is a bad buddy. A 3 cost 1/4 is not great for attacking. It's good for blocking. But yeah, I think this is good enough for constructed. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm very excited to test this out. Puppy Pup. 3 cost 2/2, once per turn. When another card you control transforms, this gets +2/+2 and steadfast this turn. And that's very unexciting, isn't it? Definitely not good enough for constructed. We want to have some effects that are better than this. Is it good enough for limited? Well, I guess it is. But even then, it's like on the mediocre side in terms of transform cards. It's okay. But it's just this turn. Some of the effects are permanent. This is just okay. You get a 4/4 beta for 3. It's okay. A little bit better than filler. A little bit above filler grade. In that specific deck, obviously. But I think this champion that transforms a card into a butterfly, limited champ, that saw much play, will be increased to 5 charges, and then he is not that good anymore. And this whole archetype could crumble. This is just a mediocre card in every sense. Rapid Rage, 2 cost, constant. When a troop you control dies, troops you control get Gladiator 1. I mean, it's interesting design-wise, but it's a card you have to think about. Like, if you open this, like, it's not immediately clear whether this is good or bad. So that's a good design, I guess. Can with sacrifice outlets? Oh, but Gladiator 1? Oh. Pump all their stuff in one troop? I will try to not play as this. Like, this card needs work to actually be get its value. I would just rather play a 2-cost troop instead of this. I don't know. This is just. This looks very clunky and limited, and for constructed. Maybe you should do some combo deck. I don't know. I don't see it. I would say no for constructed, and I will say rather don't for limited. This looks like a trap card. Looks like a card that people play because they think it's good, and then they realize it's actually not doing much. Do something for the board instead of something that has upside in some spaces, maybe. When troops you control die. You don't want your troops to die. So, I don't know. Is this playable in limited, I guess? Board stale scenarios. Board stale scenarios, okay. Okay, I shouldn't say you should never play this card in limited. It's interesting. I think it looks more like a trap, but it could get value, for sure. But I will stay with the no for constructed. Razor Board Shredder, 2 cost 1/2, Gladiator 1, 3, this gets Gladiator 1, so you can pump other resources into this. It's a 2/2 and a 1/3. Yeah, that's really nice. That's a really solid limited card, because it gives your resources to use. Yeah. Constructed, you have just better troops, I would assume. You usually want to do something else than pump your resources into one troop. Gladiator 1. Limited, okay, that's good. Constructed, you do better stuff. You have much more high impact 2-cost troops. In general, stuff you want to do with your resources instead of this. Limited, solid pickup, nothing you have to pick highly. But yeah. This will make your deck. If you are wild, especially if you are Gladiator, even if you are not Gladiator, this is good enough. Like, if I don't have any other Gladiator cards, or Gladiator relevant cards, I'll still play this in my wild deck. Just because it's solid enough. Almost, basically every time. If that's the one card I will cut, then my deck has to be really, really strong. Okay, Ready to Rumble. 3-cost quick action. Target troop you control gets Gladiator 2, and it battles target opposing troop. So, hey, Rosie Buck again. Funny cards, I don't know. So, this is quick. You can play this on your opponent's turn. This is actually really interesting, and I like this card from its design, for limited especially, of course, because I don't think this will make any constructed deck. Let's not talk about constructed, but limited. It's very interesting. You can choose to play this on your turn, and then battle for +2 attack and kill a troop you couldn't kill otherwise. Or you play this on your opponent's turn, and then survive with your troop that battles when it would otherwise die. So this is a card you can use differently. This has two modes, basically. Your turn, opposing turn. Then you can decide this troop, this troop. This is a card that makes you, that gives you decisions. That actually tests your decision making. And that I like. That's a card that doesn't play itself. You have to actually think about what you're doing here. Which troop do I want to fight with which troop? Do I want to play this on my turn or his turn? So on, so on, so on. Yeah, I like this card. Fantastic design. It's pretty simple. You just combine Gladiator with fighting, with battling. Also, the Gladiator is permanent, so you probably want to make sure that your troop survives. So I guess you will most likely play this on your opponent's turn, unless, of course, you have to kill the opposing troop. Yeah, interesting. Roaming Polzakov. Let me see. Okay. We have a 5-cost 5/5 a Sacred Major. Good stats. Good stats. This is a text, creates a rare portal and put it into your hand. Now, limited bomb, clear first pick, blah blah blah. Same stuff. Question is this good or constructed? What can you do? If you are diamond, you can go for flight for Swift Strike, which would be good already. Ruby, though. Ruby, you can go for charge gain. Oh, yeah. Or you can go for double strike? Double damage? Ooh. What else? And this is a text gain a resource? No, that's not good. Anyways, this card. I mean, if the constructed portal deck is a thing, then this card is part of. It's maybe even the main reason why portal is good in constructed. Of course, you have to attack to get the card, but chances are you can attack for the 5/5 with a Sacred Major. And even if the troop dies after you attacked, you can still get a rare portal. And rare portal is good, I guess. Although it's also random. Some rares are basically unplayable. And I guess wild rares and ruby rares are good. Better than diamond rares, maybe. Or sapphire rares in your beatdown mid-range deck. Yeah. Gonna test it out. I don't know. Looks good enough to make the cut. I don't know if this deck will be good though with portals and stuff. But limited bomb, I mean, you can actually, like, middle of pack 1, if somehow this okay, this card will never be your 4th pick in pack 1. It will never be. It should always first pick, second pick, third pick this, if you see it. And let's say you open this pack 2 and you are like something else, then you can actually, if you have some portal cards already, maybe? Like, this is really a bomb and limited. Moving on. And constructed, I don't know, maybe. Looks good enough. Rowdy Ringmaster, 6-cost, 5/5. Deploy another target troop you control, gets +1/+1 in crush. that troop battles up to one target opposing troop. Good enough for limited, not good enough for constructed. There's no transform. Just a 2-for-1 basically. But you need another troop. That's good for limited at 6, not good enough for constructed. Yeah, but for limited it's actually really good. 6 cost 5/5 body in itself is okay-ish, but the text on the card actually makes it really good. Again, the +1/+1 and crush is permanent. And crush actually might matter. Like, chances are that you play this card and then you win because your opponent loses a blocker and then you attack with your crush dude and then he's dead. That might happen quite easily. This might end the game. And even if it doesn't, you're 2-for-1 and you have a 5/5 blocker and then, yeah. You buffed your troop, you killed a troop, and you have a 5/5 buddy. That's very good. 6 is much, but yeah, this is a card that makes me want to play wild, actually. That makes me want to play wild. That I can see myself first picking. Moving on though, Runic Might, target troop you control gets +3/+3 this turn. And Runic, yeah. So this is like a very mediocre level of pump, I guess, since there's no extra, there's no crush, there's no swift strike, there's no, I don't know. It's just that there's Runic. It's very playable and limited, don't get me wrong. But it's nothing you are really impressed by that you think, oh my god, that's fantastic. More like, yeah, okay, now I have a combo trick. And you will play this combo trick. This will make your deck. I don't have to play this more than once, but if I don't have any combo tricks, then I can play 2, I guess. If I don't have any other cards, any other combo tricks. That's okay. Again, nothing I will pick highly. I tend to not pick combo tricks highly because I always think chances are I don't want to play more than 1 or 2 combo tricks, and then pack 1 I should be able to get them later. Like, that's what I think. Like, I pick them when there's nothing else. Then I pick a combo trick. When there's nothing else I want to pick in my charts, then I pick the combo trick. If there's something else, I pick the else, and then I pick the Runic Might and pick 3. Pack 3. Nothing for constructed though. Clearly not. Ruthless Ripping, target troop you control gets +4/+4 this turn. Escalation. Now this card is, I don't know. I don't understand why this card exists at rare. This card should either be better or not be rare. It should give. Maybe I would like this. Target troop you control gets +4/+4 this turn, and 1 random boon, and then escalation. The random boon would be permanent, and then it would be next escalation would be 2 random boons, and then this card would actually be playable. But as it is, I mean, sure, you pick this card in limited because it's a combo trick. It's not even that a fantastic combo trick because it's 3 cost. You have like 3 cost +4/+4 on crush, right? And that's okay, that's this escalation, yeah, sure. I mean, you do play this in limited, yeah. Nothing you're excited about. I don't have to first pick this. I don't have to play this. This doesn't make me play wild, but for constructed, why? Just do not play this in constructed, period. And I would, from a design perspective, I would like, yeah, and either this troop gets 1 random boon and then 2 random boons, 3 random boons, or I don't know, make it uncommon maybe. You can keep the card as it is and make it uncommon. Why not? Does this card have to be rare? I don't know. Like, this is a rare card I'm not excited about. Like, this is a downer. If I open this card, I feel like, oh, okay. Worth 30 platinum and not that fantastic even in my limited. It's not exciting. A downer limited card. A downer rare card. And rare cards should at least be exciting for limited. If nothing else. Oh, interesting at least. At least interesting. This is not even interesting, I think. Although the artwork is good. I will give you that. Yeah. And by the way, I know I'm critical, I'm negative, whatever. I'm just saying what I think. That being said, I mean, the two just at the spot. The set is amazing. I like it. It's very good designed. So please let me just criticize one card for its design. Okay? I'm not shitting on everything here. And it's just my opinion. I'm not right or wrong, it's just my opinion. Scurrying Strength. 3-cost basic, revert and transform target troop you control into a merry squirrel. Right weave. You get a 6/6 for 1 turn, but it's at basic. There's not a combat trick or anything. It does transform, which triggers in limited. It's clearly not good enough for constructed. Clearly not. But for limited, I guess it's good enough. It's, again, picks this up somewhere, pick 8 to 12, whatever. You will play this, like, if you play this transform deck, you probably will end up playing this. But I also see myself cutting this card. Like, if my average of cards is too good, then this is one of the first cards I will cut, I guess. It depends on how many transform effects I have. Yeah, nothing exciting, I guess. But yeah, that's okay. Not every card has to be exciting. That's a typical common for you. Yeah, commons don't have to be exciting. Don't know what's going on in this picture. Okay. Chock Spear Slinger. 4-cost Gladiator 3 Skyguard. So 1/6 or 4/3. Yeah. That's good. That's just solid. Nothing for constructed. But solid limited card. 4/3 Skyguard or 1/6 Skyguard. 4/3 only when you attack, of course. A more fair Ragefire. Yeah. Very much more fair. Yeah. Yeah. It's a solid limited card. Again, not much to say. 1/6, 4/3. Yeah. This will make the cut in a wild deck more often than not. Could also be cutted, I guess, but yeah. Very rarely I will cut this card. Was I? Yeah. Losing Seed Stack, 3-cost, 2/3. A very strange looking plant, beast. And it has a basic one-shot. For 3, destroy target constant, gain 3 health. Again, nothing for constructed. You have way better means to destroy constants, and you have way better troops. You have better options for both fronts. For limited, oh, sure. It's a solid sideboard option. Nothing I want to play in my main deck. But again, if I have to, so be it. It's a filler main deck card and a good sideboard option. But this will be one of the last cards you pick set, simply because it's just not that good and very limited. More like a sideboard card and limited. Sound Strength. Big action. Target troop you control gets +1/+1. And Deathcry, summon Applied Blossom. Yeah. That's one of the better combat tricks. Because it's, I mean, okay, it's just +1/+1, so chances are that it's not good enough to be the combat trick that makes you survive the block, the combat phase. But +1/+1 is often just enough what you need. And then the Deathcry actually is good, right? Again, nothing exciting, nothing for constructed. But yeah, solid combat trick and limited. But the same applies, like I said, with the combat tricks in general. It's not a card I pick above other cards. Like, it's not a card I want to have more than 2 of. And so I will just wait and pick the cards, other cards first. Sylvan Springs. When you play a troop, create a copy of it and put it into your deck. It gets +3/+3, a constant for 2. When you play a troop, create a copy of it and put it into your deck. It gets +3/+3. This is okay. I mean, this is good design because I'm not immediately sure if this is good or bad, and that's a good design. I'm not talking about both. I'm not sure if it's good, even good and limited. Like, I have to think about it. Like, I see it, and then I have to think, wait a minute, is this good? Is this good or is this not good? And that's for me, that's a sign of a good design card. Now let's think about, is it good or is it not good? When you play a troop, create a copy of it and put it into your deck. That's the thing, it's in your deck. You don't get the value, you just have to draw it first. And first you have to play a 2-cost constant. And then you have to play troops. And then, somewhat later, after you played the troops, after you played the constant, after you've drawn the card, then you get the value. Ay, that's a lot of ifs and late and work and yeah. I mean, it doubles all my bombs in limited. I play this, I play the bomb, another card of another copy gets in my deck. An even better card because it's +3/+3. It makes my limited deck better and better for each troop I play. Because I'm not drawing resources anymore. My chances are reduced. And if every troop is buffed, so every troop that I draw that got created this way is great. That being said, it's slow. You need to play troops after you play the constant. So you need to wait for it to get value, and then it's random. So you need to draw. I mean, you need to draw the cards first. I would say I want to play this unlimited just to see whether it's good or not. Seems like it's either it could be game winning or it could be doing nothing and then game losing because it's nothing. Like, that's the thing. Like, sometimes people play cards that do nothing and then they don't understand that that's the reason they lost the game. Like, there were other cards in the past that didn't do anything bad, but they also didn't do anything good. And then people are complaining because they don't draw the cards they need. But you played a card that did nothing. So, your own fault. And this card actually immediately at first does nothing. You have to make it work. It takes time. And then it could do something amazing and game winning. Very interesting design. I like it for its design. And I think I will play this limited. How high do I pick this? Do I first pick this? Do I definitely play this in my limited sealed pool if I play wild? I guess I do. It's interesting. I like this. Yeah, I would advise you to test this out, and I think it can be game winning. It's just very slow and a bit random. Now for constructed, I think constructed you don't have the luxury of taking your sweet time. Now I think it's a no for constructed. Maybe there's some combo deck again, like you get some kind of circle going with drawing, and then you play the troop and it draws a card. I don't know. I don't think there's a combo, but never say never. I like the card. I don't think it's particularly good, but I like the card. That's the thing. That's the card that's uh isn't good, it isn't necessarily good, but it's at least interesting. It's at least interesting, and then it deserves to be rare. Like this card, when I open this, it's unexciting. Although this card might be a better card in my limited deck than this card. But this card I'm excited about. This card I think I'm excited to play and try out. This card, I played Combat Tricks before. This is not exciting. Why is this rare? But yeah. Alright. Triumphant Mudmaster. 4 cost, 3/3, momentum 1, deploy and Deathcry. Another target troop you control gets momentum 1. I think I will make this rather quick for the last 2 or 3 cards. A solid no for constructed, and a solid yes for limited. Yeah? Seems pretty strong in limited. I mean, I could first pick this, why not? Yeah, this is a solid beta in limited decks. And just under the power level curve constructed, you have better options at 4. Like, you can play Infamous Neo for 4. Compare this to this. Both are 4 cost, momentum 1, 3/3. This has deploy and Deathcry, another target troop you control gets momentum. And this has, when you play resource, draw a card. I think I take this one. I think I take this one over this ability. Alright. Verdant Rift. 5 cost. Basic. Play 2 random wild shards from your deck. Create an uncommon portal and put it into your hand. So you have late game ramp here. You ramp from 5 to 8. 5 to 7 or 8. 8 when you play resource on your turn 6. Which means you could play like Gargalov. I mean, all those ramp cards are at least interesting to look at. And I think this is not a good ramp card because it's so costly. But it could be playable and constructed. Uncommon portal. I don't know. You can play 2 wild shards and trigger momentum 3 times a turn because you play 2 wild shards and then you play resource for your turn. That being said, I don't have this in my momentum deck right now because yeah, it's 5. Just 5. 5 is too much. But I'm not closing the door on this one. Like, this could see play in constructed. Ramp into Gargalith. Then you get an uncommon portal on top. So it's not like the problem with ramp is that sometimes you run out of cards. You play your ramp cards, and then you don't draw the payoff cards, the cards you ramp into. Or you ramp, and then you play the 1 card you ramp into. You play a 6 cost troop on turn 4. That's the upside for your ramping. And then they have removal, and then you suddenly are out of cards. That's the problem with ramp decks. And this kind of ramp actually gives you like a card for your card. It does ramp, and then it gives you an uncommon portal, which I don't know how good it is. Better than nothing. Better than nothing. Limited. I guess limited is more unlikely that you want to ramp into 7 or 8. But this is a good way to trigger momentum, right? Limited. So I think if I play momentum and limited, I will play this card. Constructed, I have better options. There I play 4 Palm of Granite in my constructed deck, but in limited, I think I will play this card just to trigger momentum. Yeah. Not a card I have to pick highly though. It's a card I pick up somewhere pick 2 when I already play momentum, when I know I am momentum. Last card, we have the Wild Knight. 5 cost 5/4. Deploy, revert, and transform another target troop you control into a random troop of the same shards with cost plus 1. Yeah, 5/4 for 5. It's this deploy effect. It's not good enough for constructed, but it is good enough for limited. In the transform deck. Even in the non-transform deck, it's okay. Like if you don't have any other transform cards, this is okay. Nothing to get too excited about. Like this, you don't have to pick it high, you can pick it late. I assume. This card will go late. Yeah. Nothing for constructed, as I said. And I don't know what this image is. It looks like it's straight out of some cartoon series. I don't know which cartoon. Just looks weird. Has another style. Drawing style. It's differently from its drawing style and very much different. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This looks like it's meant for another game. TV series, I don't know. Anyways. That's it. That's so wild. And yeah. So much for that. Whew. Now, I've gone over 3 shards, Blood, Diamond, Wild, and Shardless, and the champions. We have left Sapphire and Ruby and Multi-Shard, Prismatic. But those I won't do today, but I will do them maybe tomorrow. I will maybe Saturday as well, I don't know. I guess we have some time left. Probably tomorrow though. Like I will start earlier than it did start today, I guess. I guess so 5 p.m. Local time, German time, 5 p.m. CET. Should mean 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. Anyways. I will say thank you very much for watching. I have 33 viewers right now, which is very fine with me. Please leave a follow if you haven't already. And yeah. I think, how long did we stream? Let me quickly check. Like, my plan is for this set review to be above 10 hours. I know, I'm crazy, blah blah blah. The thing is, I will be over 10 hours. I will be over 10 hours. Like, I know everyone does set reviews, yeah. So what's the one thing where my set review is different? My set review is just longer. That doesn't necessarily mean better. I hope it means, like, at least here and there it's more informative. Yeah, I just talk about. I just say more stuff. Some of the stuff I say may be self-evident. Some of the stuff maybe a bit wishy-washy, contradicting. I don't know. A little bit very open, but I mean, I talk about the cards. I talk about the constructed decks I want to play with the cards. Like, I go more in detail. every card I talked about constructed and limited implications. Yeah. So that's the one thing, like, if I do a set review, I did this with set 10, that was over 10 hours as well. If I do a set review, then I will do it extensively. Like, I did no set review for set 6 or set 7. But yeah, this time I thought, yeah, why not? This time I had the urge to do it again. Because I think this set looks interesting and I'm excited to play it. I'm excited about the rotation as well. Like, I like to build decks. I like to ponder and think and come up with interesting ideas, synergetic decks. And yeah. With the rotation and now a new set, there will be a lot of room to explore. So I do this kind of long, extensive set review for myself as well. First step of creating decks, so to say. First step of deck brewing. Anyways, like I said, thank you for watching. I will be back most likely tomorrow with the rest. And yeah, have a good day. Goodbye. Tomorrow with the rest. And yeah, have a good day.